Hi, welcome to the Gluten-Free Kitchen. You probably have heard of the gluten-free, casein-free diet, or GFCF diet. It's a popular treatment for children with autism. So, gluten-free diet, I may refer to it as the gluten-free diet. Basically, it eliminates glutens and caseins from the diets of children with autism. So today we're here at Giant, the local Giant, looking for ingredients to make a pizza. We all know that children in general, but especially children with autism, are very finicky eaters. So we're picking a product that is that most kids tend to like. So we're going to make a pizza today. So I'm here in a grocery store looking for food products that specifically say on their label gluten-free or casein-free. Gluten is a protein that is found in grains such as wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Casein is a protein that is found in dairy products such as milk, butter, and cheese. So in my basket, I have ingredients to make a pizza. This is veggie cheese. It just happens to be lactose-free. You want to make sure that you want to look for products that say casein-free if you want to stick to a casein-free diet. We have a jar of pizza sauce. This is Don Pepino's. Right on the back it says gluten-free and vegan. So that specifically says it on the label. And then lastly we have our pizza crust that is also gluten-free. Welcome back. Now that we're in the kitchen, we're ready to start making our pizza. I have the oven set at 375 degrees. So while that's preheating, let's talk about why the gluten-free, casein-free diet, or the GFCF diet. So some kids with autism tend to have gastrointestinal issues or GI problems, and they tend to have high levels of urinary peptides while digesting gluten and casein. So these little peptides come in through the gastrointestinal wall into the bloodstream. This is also called the leaky gut syndrome, and it can have damaging effects to the child's brain. Let me give you an analogy to help you understand the leaky gut. Come on. So if we think of the small intestines as a window screen, we open up the window and we allow cool air to come into the house. But it doesn't allow larger objects such as bugs to come into the house. It's the same way with the small intestines. The small intestines allows nutrients to go into the bloodstream, but leaves out harmful things such as waste products from getting into the bloodstream. However, with leaky gut, sometimes there are holes in the small intestines, and it's very easy to get waste products to go into the bloodstream. Okay, so the oven's preheated. It's time to make pizza. So just to reiterate, it's important that when you are looking at food labels, just because it says lactose-free doesn't necessarily mean that it's casein-free. The same goes for wheat-free. Just because it says wheat-free doesn't mean that it's necessarily gluten-free. So just always read the labels. So things that are included in the gluten-free, casein-free diet, you could have vegetables, especially any sort of greens, fruits, fresh, canned, whatever. Meats are fine, nuts, those are included as long as the child doesn't have any sort of existing allergy. Also eggs, as long as you're not going egg-free in your diet, that's also allowed. So it's also important to keep in mind that casein and gluten can also be in products such as lotions and soaps. So if you're going casein-free or gluten-free, you have to check on non-food items as well. So the last thing that I want to mention is you can use any of the items that I just listed, like vegetables, fruits, that sort of thing. I had mentioned that, you know, having like canned fruits are okay. You have to make sure that there are no additives or preservatives that are in the food, because sometimes you can find there's like hidden caseins and glutens in there. So, looking yummy already. If you want to start the gluten-free, casein-free diet, there's kind of two ways that you can do it. You can either dive right in, or you can just get your feet wet. So if you wanted to dive in, basically you would prepare meals that are gluten-free, casein-free, and give it to all of the members of your family. So the whole household becomes gluten-free, casein-free. If you just want to get your feet wet, you would prepare meals that maybe are gluten-free at first, and then eventually take out the casein, and you can expand the diet to take out soy products, egg products, corn products, depending, you know, you can rely on like your kid's allergy to kind of custom make your own diet. So studies have expressed having some limitations of being unable to get children to finish up their study because the whole family isn't really involved with the diet. So what happens is children are eating these gluten-free products and they're not really into eating them. They don't taste very good, and you know, they see, you know, their older brother eating whatever they want, and it just doesn't work out very well. So it's very important to get the whole family involved. That way the diet can be successful. So now that we have our cheese on, our sauce on, and our gluten-free bread ready, we can put it in the oven. We're probably going to cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes. The pizza's ready, but before we eat, we're going to let it cool down. So the gluten-free diet seems like a very healthy diet because it doesn't involve any processed foods. But it's important to make sure that you provide supplements. A lot of times, you know, children aren't getting their nutrients such as calcium, vitamin D, or fiber because these are naturally found in gluten and casein foods. This is especially important when we consider a study that talks about bone density in autistic boys. So autistic boys tend to have lower bone density than their typical peers. If you have a child with autism who is on the gluten-free, casein-free diet, casein is a major source of where they get their vitamin D and calcium. So it's very important to make sure that you supplement the food with vitamins and minerals. Some parents are big fans of the gluten-free, casein-free diet. A lot of children with autism tend to be highly sensitive to the foods that they eat. So if you take the gluten and the casein out of their diets, they'll have a very calm digestive tract. With a calm digestive tract, they can get maybe a more restful night's sleep or have less bowel movement issues. So this all sounds really great and fantastic, however, it hasn't been proven scientifically. So this was my first time buying gluten-free, casein-free products, and I gotta tell you, it was a little bit difficult. It was kind of hard to find, and I had to make sure that I read all the food labels. So it's probably best to make sure that you map out, you know, the grocery store so you know where to go and you can get out of there a little bit quicker. I also found that it was a little bit expensive. My total was $13 for, you know, 4 personal servings. where I could have probably gone to Pizza Hut, got a large pizza for $10, and that would be 8 servings. The other thing is the gluten-free, casein-free diet has not been scientifically proven. So a lot of studies haven't proved that there were any improvements in symptoms of autism in children. However, anecdotally, parents really believe that this diet has worked for them. I caution that even though it's a very healthy diet, it has to be implemented correctly. Make sure that there are vitamins and minerals supplemented, for the lack of nutrients when you take out the gluten and the casein. And then last but not least, it's important to not consider the gluten-free diet as the sole treatment, but more as part of a whole treatment plan. So thank you for joining me today in the Gluten-Free Kitchen. I hope you've enjoyed this and learned a little bit about the gluten-free, casein-free diet. So bon appetit!